Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. I told you guys yesterday, be on the lookout for this podcast. As you know, Casual Bias Rugby, we've got creators from literally all over the world. We're representing the URC today. So we've got a Safa, we've got a Scotsman, and we've got an Irish guy on the point. Or, well, on the end. I mean, Murray usually be on the Rugby Connection podcast. Welcome to Casual Bias Rugby, like officially. How are we doing, my man? You looking
I'm
forward
good.
to this?
I'm excited. I'm more excited now because I'm not hosting, so I don't have to stress about it all. So I'm all good. But yeah, I'm excited because the URC is back this weekend, and I could vouch for Tiernan as well. We've had like withdrawal symptoms. We've not had any rugby up here for about 2 months now, so it's not been fun over the summer.
It's been rough. Like, geez, what's life without the rugby? No.
Exactly.
But yeah, I can't wait for the new season. I think just so many great teams in the league at the moment. The club rugby especially is in a great place right now, so it's going to be an exciting couple of months. Exciting season.
Boys,
See how it goes.
we're talking here about like there's no rugby. We're witnessing the best team in the world. Come on, boys. The South Africans are still playing, you know. Murray, you should be excited. You see a lot of potential future Scotsmen playing.
Yeah, potential. who have you not capped in a wee while? Edward van der Marvel's not been capped since Wales. Who knows? He could...
Yeah, you guys are on the scout. You're on the lookout out here. Yeah. Anyway, boys, we're coming off, I would say, probably one of the best franchise seasons, the previous season, in terms of rugby, right? The only one that kind of disappointed, and I actually thought this season was a bit better than what they had the last couple of years. I think the Premiership was amazing last season. I thought the URC was amazing last season. The Champions Cup was an absolute thriller. And then Super Rugby was, you would say, on the lower side, right? But it was better than the previous seasons, in my opinion. And then obviously you have the Japanese league that just keeps growing and growing and growing. And it's kind of set the standard for what we can expect this season, right? So I'm expecting a massive season from all franchises. But obviously, this is a URC season. We're not going to talk about round one previews or anything like this. We're just going to look straight ahead into the season as a whole. I'm going to come straight to you, Tiernan. Off the cuff, you know we don't prep on this thing. What is your top 6 for the URC season?
Number 6, I've gone Ulster. Number 5, gone the Bulls. 4th, Stormers. 3, Glasgow. 2, Munster. And 1st, Leinster. And my winner is Leinster.
Oh, saucy. Saucy, I do like it.
Oh,
you know, the issue is, right, like Murray is there, and I think it's valid to kind of pull up your nose that Edinburgh is not mentioned because they play the Italian teams twice.
Yeah.
They're 7th, don't worry. They're still in there.
Oh, no, that's come on. We're better than Ulster. Get a grip. Come on. Show some respect. We beat them away from home. We've got them home this year. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. It is like, I think, top 4 or 5, that's fairly solid. But then, you know, same as last season, that 6 to 12 is going to be just an absolute war.
Yeah. Oh, it's saucy. Murray, give me your top 6. Where do you differ?
It's not completely different from Tiernan. In 6th, I've got Edinburgh. I've got 5th, I've got Stormers. 4th, the Bulls. 3rd, I've got Munster. 2nd, I've got Glasgow. And 1st, I've got Leinster.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Leinster to actually do it. You're going with Leinster to actually do it?
I think Leinster are top. I don't think they're going to win it.
So who's your title then? Who's champion?
Right now.
Wait, we'll get into that. Don't answer that.
He already said his winner.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a Leinster fanboy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll go, right? And in 6th, I've got, this feels like blasphemy to almost say this. I've got the defending champions. I've got Glasgow in 6th.
No.
Wow. Interested to see who's going to be above them next. They're a good team.
Sorry?
Interested to see who's going to be above them because they were quality.
Yeah. In 5th, I've also got the Stormers, right? In 4th, I've got Munster. In 3rd, you're not going to believe it, I've got the Sharks. I've got the Sharks in 3rd spot.
Nah.
I've got the Sharks in third spot. I'm going with the Bulls second, and then Leinster to top the pool stages. And the reasoning behind the Sharks thing, right? I'm telling you now, the reasoning behind this is the Sharks, they have got some quality in now, right? Like if you talk about depth and they got Estrazen coming in, right? Like you look at Franco Fenter was there, but he's probably going to drop to the bench. They've still got all that quality. Look at the way that they ended last season. They looked probably almost unbeatable. You guys remember how they ended last season? Then they won the Challenge Cup convincingly as well. They've played in the Currie Cup now without any of their South African team players who everyone's been raving about. And they're in the Currie Cup final, right? Against a very, very exciting Lions team. They beat a full-strength Bulls team, right? Okay, well, there was no Moody. There was no Kurtley Orenser. Okay, but the rest was all Bulls boys. They still beat them without their South Africans. So I think they're going to have a massive, massive season. And I think they're going to prioritize the URC. And that's kind of why I'm going with the Sharks to get into that third spot.
I don't think they're prioritizing the URC this year at all. I think they're just going to focus on the Champions Cup again and only play the big boys when it matters there. I can't see them doing well in the URC. I think they're just going to, it's fine.
I do kind of agree with Casual because I don't think they're the quality team to go far in Champions Cup at the moment. Maybe if that amazing squad builds together a bit more. But I do agree they could end up finishing a bit higher. Now, I had them ninth in my prediction. I think they're the Chelsea of rugby and they're just going to flop no matter how much talent they have. But you said they're top three. Do you think they pull up the same performance in the playoffs, make it far in the finals?
I do. I think we see the Sharks in the final and they lose to Leinster. I'm actually backing Leinster to finally go and do it. If Leinster actually prioritizes the URC, which I think they should do, because they've been focusing on the Champions Cup, right? Throwing away the URC, they should focus on the URC, win the thing that's in front of them in the first place, right? And then from there on, they'll probably kick on and win the Champions Cup again. But I think it's finally time for Leinster to actually go into it. I've never backed Leinster to do it, except for this season. I'm actually saying, with the signings that they've made, with the whole Irish team, and they've got Taniela Tupou and Geordie Barrett coming in, and Archie Snyman, if you don't win the URC, it is just wrong. You've got by far the strongest team, you and the Sharks, and I think both squads will fight to actually win the trophy.
I do agree, to be honest. They've neglected the URC way too much. Now, it is a tough situation where you lose basically your entire squad to an international window. And to work around that is kind of difficult for them. And at the same time, getting too many games isn't good for players. There's only a certain amount of games you can play a season. But I do agree, this whole thing early in the season where they rest the main team for the Champions Cup group games, which, let's face it, they should have most of them easy enough. You could even say the round of 16, whoever they play in that, they should have easy enough. So I think this whole resting the team for 2 weeks before those games, it costs them points on the table. It costs them later on the season when we're playing a lot of really high intensity games together. And just in terms of momentum, there's none of it.
Yeah, but Tiernan, right? Murray, I'll let you go in a second, right? But what I would rather do if I was you, and I'm no rugby expert, right? Instead of playing your full strength team and then playing absolute nobodies together, how about you just mix it together, right? Like a mixture of the experience with the young guys that would still get the job done with the talent that you guys have. Like if you have your basis and then you play a mixture of the other guys, right? And then for the other challenge, you go for your other piece of the basis and you throw some other young guys together, you should still get the job done. Instead of this thing where we play the whole Irish team and then we play no one. And then you just bin it. You just throw it away.
I do agree with that. Yeah, like maybe some games play the Irish back line or play the Irish forward pack or maybe do half and half. Just, have some of the top players always in that team. That way, it's a better team, more experience in there. You're going to try to win every game in the URC season. And I think it'll be way better for them going forward. And not just this whole resting the Irish team for most games, playing the B team, getting smashed in like South Africa.
Yep.
It hasn't worked for them,
your
so
thoughts,
they do need to
who are you actually going for to get it done?
Right now, I can't see anyone taking it off of Glasgow, which kills me as an Edinburgh fan, but they were sensational in the run-in, and the way they won the URC is possibly the hardest way to do it. So, yeah, credit to them for that. I just think they've not really lost anyone either. They've recruited well. They've got Rory Sutherland back in Scotland. Adam Hastings has came back. And I think that's just going to keep them in that mix for sure. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, though.
Fair enough. Let's go to the bottom three. Sorry, Murray, go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, plus I just really want to go to the URC final.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So when we talk about the bottom three, right? My bad. When we talk about the bottom three, do we think it's pretty straightforward? Is it Scarlets? Is it Dragons and Zebra? Or do we think we see some surprise entries?
I just think it's Scarlets, Zebra, and Dragons. Let them battle it out. It's going to be through them.
Yeah,
they're not the quality of the league, and they're just.
I want.
It's going
I'd
to be
like to
between
see
them.
just one of them just prove us wrong. I just can't pinpoint who to prove us wrong on that. But
yeah,
I wouldn't mind Zebra doing well. That'd be really good.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it'd be nice for Italian rugby to get both teams up in the table. But I don't know. Like Dragons for me are 16th. They ain't coming anywhere else. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of bad, right? Because we always see the bottom three, like they're quite a bit off the top 15. Like it just feels almost a bit easy to predict that, right? Yeah, I don't see anything really changing. Tiernan, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, while we're talking about Italian teams, there, Benison kind of had a bit of an overachieving season just there. Do we think they're going to put the same performance?
Do you believe as well? Do you believe they would be disappointed with how they kind of ended, with the way that they were in 4th spot and then they all of a sudden were fighting to be in the top 8, right? Like they were cruising at a point.
They were, and I do think that quarterfinal against the Bulls, they could have won that game.
Yeah,
I think just the whole end of the season, not just for the URC, just for the Challenge Cup as well for Benetton, hurt because they beat the Sharks in Durban, famous victory. They then lose in the Challenge Cup to Gloucester, so there's a Sharks Gloucester final. You then have to root for the team that just beat you in European rugby to stop the team that you beat in the league to advance in the Champions Cup spot. It was just a horrible situation all round.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
it's very.
But I mean, they deserve it, seeing that they can play the easy teams twice, like Edinburgh and those type of things. So I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, we'll get to the final 2 points, right? Who's going to be the top point scorer? I'm going to give you mine.
Go on, then.
And I think this guy, he's been under criticism, but I think he'll have a blast of a season. I just get the feeling we see prime this person back. I'm going Manie Libbok.
Oh, shut up.
Manie Libbok, point scorer.
Yep. Yeah.
He has to kick it goal, remember?
Yeah, but if he kicks pretty well for the Stormers. Remember that first season, he had an 87% kicking rate, which is not bad at all.
What about the other seasons?
The second season was 80% as well. Last season was trash. Trash.
The numbers are going down.
Yeah, you know, but Manie Libbok has that attacking threat as well. He scores quite a bit of tries for number 10.
But not enough to be top point scorer. I don't know.
The only thing that kind of gets me away from Manie is like, will he play every game? Like, I think the Stormers team, they need to be fired up, right? Because I feel last season, even though we were still in the, quarterfinals, semifinals? Quarterfinals, right?
Yeah, quarterfinals.
Yeah, it was an embarrassing season. And I think Dobber might be hard on the guys in terms of telling them, listen, we need to fix up. We lost a lot of games that we shouldn't have lost. And I think we'll see a couple of hungry guys coming out again. Guys that know they need to perform. They're on the fringes of Springbok selection. So Marnie Lebock, I think we see prime Marnie back again. Give him 1 or 2 good games. That guy's a confidence player. When he has it back, he is unstoppable.
But when he's shit, he's really shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to. I'm gonna have to be really biased with this one.
Jan Goosen.
Not that biased. He's not ours yet, so it doesn't count. No, I'm going for back to back. I think Ben Healy will get it again.
Oh, the Irishman.
Just because
He plays all the
right
games.
off the tee. He plays more games, yeah. He's not getting into the Scotland team because Ben Russell is sensational. He might not even get on the bench with Adam Hastings being back now and fully fit. So his only real challenge is to start for Edinburgh with Ross Thompson. And like he was 50 points ahead of second place last season. So it's quite a comfortable margin. So I can't see anyone really catching
Could we see Crowley get up there?
Oh, so I'm going to say, actually, don't mind now. So my top
Yeah,
point scorer, I do think, would be Jack Crowley. Purely because, one, he's going to play most of the games. His backup is now Billy Burnz. Says it all. So no matter if he's, so let's say like you sub Billy Burnz on, he go to 10, and you put Jack Crowley in centres, maybe he'll still do the kicking. He's going to be doing 99% of the kicking for Munster. He plays so many games. I think it's going to be him and someone else that could potentially take. I'm not going for a 10 here. Curtly Arnsel. Because you look where the Bulls play and just the amount of tries they can score if they're playing in Loftus.
He is going to Japan now, isn't he?
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah, he's going to miss a good few games. He's going to Japan.
Actually, I've got a question.
That's my bad for not keeping up to date on that. So, yeah,
now that I've said it, I've actually now maybe thought about it. Who would you have kicking for Edinburgh? Do you have Ben Healy or do you have Buffelli if he's starting?
Ben Healy.
Bit of Irish bias. I'm going to go for Ben Healy.
Okay. No, fair enough. That's fine.
I don't even think Buffelli belongs on the pitch. I don't think he's a good player.
Jesus.
I don't think he's a good player at all. I think people see him kicking well, but he's not a great player. Like that guy on the wing, he's got no pace. Yeah, he can kick okay.
We don't have him on the wing. So we've never played him at wing, so it's fine.
What are you playing him at a fullback?
We've usually used him at fullback, but right now it would be Duhan van der Merwe, Darcy Graham, and Wes Houston.
Yeah,
because he was sensational.
So who do you play at fullback now? Who do you play at fullback?
Right now, I've got Wes Houston starting.
Yeah. So see, Buffelli doesn't even make it in. I don't think he's good enough of a player that just his goal kicking gets you in, especially with Healy there. Like the guy's reliable enough to do it. But I like the Jack Crowley shout to be top point scorer because he also scores quite a few tries, right? But let's not act like his kicking is the best. He misses a good few as well.
He missed a good few, but like you can also slot a fair few. He's just a class player, you know. He's only getting better every year. He's future world class 10. I think he'll be amazing this season. I know it's obviously not good as an Leinster fan. Getting cooked by Munster is not something I like to think about. But he's a quality player. I think he's going to have a great season for Munster, great season for Ireland as well.
Do you know who would actually feel like an outside shout if he gets game time? Would be Kieran Frawley.
I have a lot to say about this, and I will be saying it a lot during the season. It is criminal that man is being sidelined at the moment. He is the best 10 in Leinster. I'm sick of saying it. You know, Ross Byrne, I think he's had his time. He's not the game leader we need. He's not the big game player we need. Kieran Frawley is that player. I think this season, going into like big game, start Kieran Frawley at 10, Sam Prendergast on the bench. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, for the final one, boys, surprise team of the season. Who do you think people are kind of writing off? Well, or they'll do a lot better than what is expected of them.
Can we do a surprise failure and a surprise good?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So my surprise failure, first of all, is Bulls. I think they've been figured out at this stage. Teams know that they have to avoid a playoff game at altitude in Loftus, especially the likes of Leinster, who, as good as their squad is, that the altitude and the travel is just what kills them in the playoffs. So teams like Glasgow, Munster, Leinster, they're going to be making sure avoid a playoff game in Loftus. Like, win your games, send your squads down to South Africa as much as you need just to avoid that one single game. I think the Bulls, they have that. Teams want to avoid them, so that's why I think they're going to be a failure. And for my surprise of the season, I'm going to go for Connacht. Back into the playoffs, back into the Champions Cup, potential semi-final there.
Oh, that's
you just look at the quality of that team, like Bundy Aki, Mac Hansen, Joshua is their new sign at 10, who's high expectations of him. Quayle and Blades, Devine, scrum half, just some quality players in that team. So I think they're going to do a lot better than people think they are. So yeah, failure, Bulls, success, Connacht.
Oh, that's saucy. So, but you're not thinking like the Bulls will all of a sudden drop to like what the Sharks did, because obviously you predicted them still in the top 6, but just compared to like expectations, you don't think they'll be in like a title run or anything like that?
I just don't think so. I think they'll have a lot more focus on them this season than they will have last season.
Yeah, fair enough. Murray?
I'm trying to think of who would just have a really rough season. Maybe Ulster. I don't know. I'm really lost with Ulster. Like, they should be pushing for titles every year, and they just don't. But then again, I don't know what the expectation is anymore because of the lackluster seasons that they've had.
That's kind of thing. Like, my expectation for them is just to make playoffs and make Champions Cup, secure that.
See, originally, I think I did this on a live on TikTok. I got asked my top 8, and I don't think Ulster were in that top 8.
Really?
Wow. I'm trying to remember it now. I think it was in like no order.
I agree.
Like Glasgow, Bulls, Stormers, Edinburgh.
Yeah, because I gave you my top 6 without Ulster. My 7, 8, Benetton, Edinburgh.
Leinster, Munster, Ospreys, and Benetton. Yeah, so I don't have Ospreys in my top 8. There you go.
Yeah.
See, Ulster have always been that team that always managed to sneak into the top 3, and you're like, where did they come from?
Yeah. And
look at last season. They beat Leinster twice. Sure. Both games against Leinster, they won. They can just do stuff like that, but then kind of when it comes to playoff time, they don't succeed.
I don't know.
So I can't see them missing playoffs. I can't see them having an epic failure in the playoffs.
Murray, they're actually my surprise flops as well. Like, I just don't think Ulster's in a good spot at the moment. Like,
it's weird because like people are raving about Aidan Morgan, the young lad that signed from Hurricanes. I've never seen him play because he's never really started, has he? So
yeah,
I know this is a URC one, but I said the same about like Fergus Park. People are like, he's going to be a star. I'm like, is he? Nobody's seen him play.
People are talking about it being
the issue is right. The issue is I look at the top 8, right, or the top 6 that all of us mentioned, right. Yeah. I'm thinking, who does Ulster really beat of the lot, right? They might get an upset victory here or there, right? But they just don't strike me as this consistent team that you need to be. Like, you need to, at some point in the season, you need to go on a run. And I don't see where Ulster gets that run. I think Ulster struggles even to get over the line against the likes of Cardiff. I think Cardiff is an underrated team. Like, Cardiff have been looking a bit better. I'm not saying they're going to have a good season or anything.
I think it more depends on
Ulster never. When was the last time you saw Ulster getting a convincing victory?
Against Leinster. No. I'm sorry.
We're convinced at all. Like, those were tight games, and I'm just thinking like that's how they win their games. They win a lot of games like that, but again, like you said, high pressure games, and that's why
have you seen Ulster's first 5 games?
His first 5?
That's like really bad, isn't it?
Ulster's first 5 games are not easy at all. So they're hosting Glasgow. They're then away to the Lions and the Bulls. They're then hosting Connacht, and then they're hosting the Ospreys.
I'm going 0.
I think they'll beat the Ospreys, but those first 4, I think that's 0. That could be 0 and 4.
They're not. You know, because they will probably still want to find their feet, right? The South African teams, they've just played Currie Cup. Like, the chemistry, they are flowing at the moment, right? So they're not beating the Lions. They're playing Lions in South Africa, right?
Yeah, but that's the South African to Lions.
Yeah, they're not winning at Ellis Park. and they're definitely not beating the Bulls at Loftus. So forget about it. The only chance really is the Ospreys, and I think the Ospreys are kind of that team where it's like they're always just going to be a threat for that upset victory. I think Ulster and Ospreys are same WhatsApp group.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, so Ulster is my flop as well.
Yeah.
Murray, I agree with you. And then I actually thought you guys were going to take the piss with the Stormers. So I was going to say, well, the Stormers are going to be the surprise thing, right? Because they've sold a lot of players, but there's a lot of young boys coming through. They've got this contract with one of the Currie Cup teams, the Griquas, which is like these proper farm boys. So the forwards can be stacked. Which is good, right? Because we always get injuries in our forwards. It's an absolute shit show. I mean, look at that game we played against. The game we played against La Rochelle, 5 injuries in the first half. All our forwards just died. So, yeah. But anyway, with that, obviously, Sharks, surprise. I'm just thinking with the way that they ended last season or kind of played that third quarter with the Challenge Cup as well and the Currie Cup, they've been playing without even their SA boys. They know for a fact they can't repeat what they did last season in the URC. That would be horrible. So they set the standard for themselves. With the new signings coming in to actually try and change the team, I think they're going to have a massive season. And they might make KwaZulu-Natal a fortress to go to. So
possibly. I'm going biased from a surprise overachievers as Edinburgh because we've not been in the playoffs for about 2-3 years now, and sucks. It hurts because on our day we can either pull off a shock victory or push teams bloody close. Like, I mean, you messaged me last season during the Munster game how close it was, how entertaining it was, and plus, just because I mentioned it on Ulster, our first 5 games could come in very handy, especially in the long term of the season. Get them out the way first.
Yeah. All right, boys. We'll wrap it up on that one. Murray, thanks for joining, man.
Thank you for having me.
Kenan, thanks for joining. Murray, where can they find you on your socials?
I'm at BlissfulRugby on Instagram, TikTok. I'm just all BlissfulRugby on everything.
Okay.
Except for Facebook.
Kenan, where can they find you?
At Turn Talks Rugby on TikTok and Off the Tee on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Boys, thank you for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. Go and subscribe to their channels. Go follow their channels. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.